All right, class, I wanted to do one example that was tangent. Since there wasn't one in the notes, I wanted to add an extra example of finding the inverse function for tangent. So remember, if I want to find the inverse function for tangent, I'm going to switch my x and my y here. So I've got x equals negative tangent y plus 3 minus 2. So then my first step here would be to add 2 to the other side. So that gives me x plus 2 equals negative tangent y plus 3. Now this negative tangent is like a -1 tangent. So if I want to get rid of that -1, I'm going to have to divide by -1, which means I'm going to have to divide each of these by -1. So that gives me negative x minus 2 equals tangent y plus 3. Now remember, I can't do anything with this y plus 3 yet because it's inside of the parentheses. So in order to undo these parentheses, I need to move tangent to the other side. And to move tangent to the other side, we use tangent inverse. So I'm going to do tangent inverse to each side here. Now that's tangent inverse of that entire thing. So that gives us tangent inverse of negative x minus 2, that whole thing, and then equals y plus 3. So now that that y plus 3 is outside of parentheses, now I can subtract that 3 to the other side. Now one mistake students make here is that they combine these. Well, this is in parentheses and this minus 3 is not in parentheses. So this can't be added to this. So that's going to give us tangent inverse of negative x minus 2 and then just minus 3 on the outside of the parentheses equals y. So we'll rewrite our answer in f of inverse form. So f inverse of x equals tangent inverse of negative x minus 2 minus 3. Now we are going to write the domain and range here. So we want to know our domain and our range for both f of x and for f inverse of x. All right, so we've got a little chart here. So for f of x, the domain was right here. So we could rewrite that in our domain. Negative 3 minus pi over 2 is less than x is less than pi over 2 minus 3. Now remember, the domain of f of x is the range of f inverse. So I'm going to rewrite that down here as the range. But because it's the range, I need to change it to y. Okay, now to get the domain, to get the range of f of x, the range here, I'm going to take a look at what would be the range of tangent. Well, if you remember, tangent looks like this, right? So that means that the range of tangent is always negative infinity to positive infinity, which, because we're writing in an interval notation here, we could just write all real numbers. If you wrote negative infinity to positive infinity, that's not wrong. We're just switching back here to interval notation. Or this is interval notation, this is inequality notation. So with inequality, we can just do the all real numbers. And if this is all real numbers, then this guy here is all real numbers. And now we're done.